to an episode of the From the Pure Land podcast, videocast. I'm Mel Pine, and this is our New Year's look back and look forward podcast, videocast, and blog. You can see this as a video cast or read it as a blog on the website melpine, MELPINE, .substack.com. Oh, and if you were seeing the blog version of this, you'll see this photo of me from a holiday party. The photo was taken at a holiday party with my silly but warm and wonderful Secret Santa gift, which is also not only a hat but a mask as well, made by a woman's collective in the Andes. And I thought it would be a light touch to begin a post with a headline that sounds like it's going to be heavy, but I don't intend it that way. The headline is, "A funny thing happened on my way to death." And the readout subhead, "Here's a hint. It's about this Substack blog, Life and What Lies Ahead." It begins with a quote. "Live your life fully." The quote is from Dzogchen Ponlop Rinpoche. "Live your life fully and use every moment, every opportunity in a way that is beneficial for oneself and for others. If we live every moment the same, in a peaceful, positive, and kind way, then death is also another moment, the same. So there's no difference." The quotation is from Andrew Holecek's book, Preparing to Die, Practical Advice and Spiritual Wisdom from the Tibetan Buddhist Tradition. I'll return to his book, but first I want to look back a year to the start of 2024. I was happy, joyous with my life and my Buddhist practice. And I was looking forward to my death. Those are not contradictions. I was happy to go on living in my loving marriage of 30 plus years, enjoying our downsized for retirement home, with our kind and generous son visiting regularly. And plenty of Netflix to watch. I wasn't eager for death as long as I could live this way. But as my 78th birthday was approaching, I was going through several physical and cognitive challenges that left me uncertain about my ability to live comfortably for more than another year or two. Now, those challenges have become less imminent, but that's how I felt a year ago. A few years earlier, I had let go of my ego. By that I mean that I gave up any need to prove anything, to stand out from the crowd, to gain recognition. I even gave up writing because I felt I had said and done everything I needed in this life. There are plenty of good writers out there. My wife and I had been meeting and still continue to meet daily over Zoom for an hour with a Sangha of loving and caring followers of the Dharma who live throughout the United States. In addition to that practice, I was following and still follow Yongey Mingyur Rinpoche's Path of Liberation teaching and his Nectar of the Path liturgy. I'm sure you can find a better picture of him, but I just held it up since I had it there. It was time, I thought, to add more awareness of death and dying to my practice. Ideally, it's part of everyone's practice at any age. But we know how that plays out. Now I was ready. I bought Holacek's Preparing to Die and loved it. Andrew writes and teaches from an understanding of Tibetan Buddhism, gained through his study in years in Nepal, India, Bhutan, and Tibet, as well as a 3-year retreat in Nova Scotia. He brings to that wisdom a thoroughly modern and non-sectarian spiritual and scientific perspective. The book helped me incorporate some Pure Land teachings into my Vajrayana practice, and I wrote about that in a September 21st blog post called The Pure Land in Life and Death. And you can find more about Buddha Amitabha and the Pure Land if you want to go there. Again, the website is, and there's a link to it in this post, and the website is melpine.substack.com. Or you could probably find it by putting Melpine Substack blog into Google. In May, I virtually attended Andrew's Blissful Pure Lands retreat and began bringing Buddha Amitabha into my daily meditations as my venerated yidam. A yidam is an image that, for the meditator, represents all Buddhas, all Buddhahood. And here I'll show you the image that I use frequently. My favorite. There are lots of Buddha Amitabha images. That's the one I use most often in my meditations. Around June 3rd, just a week or two after the end of Andrew's retreat, as I meditated one night and brought Amitabha into my consciousness, he seemed to be telling me that there was more for me to do. Hey, I know how to write. I know how to blog. So I can use those skills to manifest my bodhicitta, the desire to liberate others from needless suffering. I had thought I didn't have much left to give, but whether it was really a voice from Amitabha or it was my own internalized sense of him, or whatever way one wants to see it, he was telling me, I'm not through, there's more I can do. So that's the creation story of From the Pure Land. I issued the first post on June 5th. Since then, I've written almost 150 more, and I've shared posts written by others. We've reached 15,000 unique users who have viewed the From the Pure Land posts more than 35,000 times. We have only about 300 registered subscribers to the blog. I don't know how many subscribers we have on various apps to the podcast. So if you've been checking us out from time to time, click on the button or go to the, and if you're not reading this as a podcast, again, go to the website, open the blog, and you can click on subscribe now. By choosing the free option, it'll get you the same content as paid subscribers, with one exception that I'm going to mention below. In September, I began the podcasting and occasionally videocasting one of the from the Pure Land posts each week. To mark the new year, this one's available always, in all ways. Now, through the magic of podcasting, which I don't quite understand as well as I do print distribution, there are people in 49 countries who've listened to one or more of the blog posts. Now, about that funny thing that happened on my way to death, this blog became my remaining life's work, and in doing so, greatly improved my physical and cognitive health. I still have no problem greeting death as a friend whenever it's my time. But I also have an additional reason and an additional resolve to stay alive and functional. I have this countdown timer on my laptop here. It tells me that I have 508 days left until my 80th birthday. That was the original date I set to evaluate my health prospects. Now it's a date to celebrate my 80th birthday. It's also the self-imposed deadline for completing a book and getting it published. The past 7 months, thanks to Amitabha, or my internalized Amitabha, the past 7 months have convinced me that maybe I do have something fresh to say that readers might welcome, and that might contribute to reducing suffering. So stay tuned. The very tentative title is Demystifying Buddhism, a Middle Way Between Secular and Ossified. Demystifying Buddhism, a Middle Way Between Secular and Ossified. These short, almost daily posts were never intended to produce income. I offer paid subscriptions only for those who feel they are gaining something of value from them, from the posts, who can afford $5 a month or $50 a year and are moved to contribute to my mission and expenses, which now run about twice the subscription income. In hopes of closing that gap as I work on my book, when I'm fairly happy with a chapter or with a section of the book, a preface, an introduction, a proposal, I'll release it to paid subscribers. You can upgrade to paid at any time, and again, you can get to the blog by going to the website melpine.substack.com. Finally, as a reminder for the new year, I'll repeat the blogging principles listed on the website's About page. Blogging requires absolute honesty. Impermanence applies to blogging as it does to all other conditioned things. My beliefs will change over time, but I won't revise what I wrote before unless it's essential to do so. And when I do, I'll add a note indicating the change. For now, the posts will come on no set schedule, but you can expect at least one weekly when I'm not on a retreat or otherwise unable to write. In fact, they've been a lot more frequent than that. Each post will be short. I want you to be able to read it in 5 minutes or so. I'll say so when I have been wrong. And perhaps most important, this blog is a manifestation of my bodhicitta, the drive to help all beings reach enlightenment and end suffering. May you all have a joyous new year. May you all live in happiness. May you all live without suffering. May you all find your spiritual